All right. Hi, Vicky. How are you today?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for meeting me today and coming here for a session. Um, I'm not sure if you know a little bit about me or read a little bit about my profile online, but my name is Priya, and I'll be interviewing you today for my social work counseling and interview class. I just wanted to say that I appreciate you coming here today, and I'd like to verify that you received my consent form online.
Yes, that's right. I received it and I read through it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was there anything that was of concern to you?
Um, Not that I can remember or think of as the consent form was very straightforward and very clear.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, I just wanted to confirm that this interview is for my social work counseling and interviewing class, and that it's used for the sole purpose for that class. And I will be uploading this interview on YouTube to share with my professor. And then you can ask for it to be deleted at any time. And also, throughout this session, if there's any moment that you just feel uncomfortable with the questions that I might be asking, or that you just don't feel like sharing certain information, you can absolutely ask me to stop, or you can say no to my questions. Just wanted
Okay,
to make that clear.
okay, that sounds good.
Okay, awesome. All right, yeah. So could you tell me a little bit about yourself and what brings you here today?
Oh yeah, so for sure. So my name is Vicky. Um, Currently I am 28 years old and I live in Vancouver. So one thing that has been bothering me for a little bit is about my job actually. So I work in tech. I work as a UX designer. Um, it's the long term. The full acronym means like user experience designer. So basically, what I do is more so like develop wireframes and the final design for the engineers and to build. And that's how I kind of see. Um, and on top of that, I work with like other stakeholders, like PMs or other designers, in my day-to-day job. And currently, the reason why I brought that up is because I'm encountering some like frustration in my work life.
Great. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing, Vicky. So I'm hearing that you're in Vancouver. You're obviously doing really well to be working in a space such as tech and doing UX design. Um, but I'm hearing that the main thing I'm hearing is that there's frustration at work. Am I
Uh,
right?
oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. Is it okay if you could just tell me a little bit more about what that frustration is specifically at work?
Oh yeah, for sure. Um, let's see. Where do I even start? So basically, what I'm going through right now at work is that sometimes um so basically I work as like a designer. There's like different levels, and then so I report to like a manager. And basically a priority a lot of my job is that I have to come up with different designs, and then kind of make sure that the design is like implementable by the engineers or has been approved by the product managers. And sometimes like we have to use our best like judgment to coming up with the best design. And by what best design usually means is like the one that has like the best like user experience where the users are able to accomplish their goals. And it can be very subjective just because like a lot of people have different like opinions and ideas in terms of like how the user will navigate through like a certain flow. So this is where the frustration comes in. Yeah. So basically what happened is like my manager, she was thinking that um, design A is like the best way to go. But then for me, based on my best judgment and from my prior experience, I was like, no, like design B or C that I have created is much better than design A, but I wasn't able to, I guess like fully assert myself or like fully express myself that, to kind of like stand up to her. Just because I felt like I was not, not, um, I guess like, sort of like, yeah, like basically design sort of shut down by her. And then I had to like come up with like, and then but at the same time because I know design A was not like the best one, I decided to come up with like design D, E, F to kind of like go a different route to but at the same time like she was also like shutting down those designs and not really listening to like my reasoning or rationale behind it. So in the end, like what I had to do, I just gave up. I presented the design A to the directors and the VP of design to, but in the end to be shut down by the higher ups and be like, that's a terrible design. I need to come up with other things. So it was just more
Mm.
like, I was just more like, basically the monkey in the middle, not able to like basically do anything because ultimately the final design that I presented wasn't like the intended design I wanted to do, but I wasn't able to. I didn't feel I was being supported enough to present another design. So it was just more
Okay.
like a little bit
Okay,
frustrating in that sense.
let me
Yeah.
pause you here for a second so I just can collect what you're saying here. So, um, I'm hearing that there was frustrations. Um, you felt that you weren't being seen or heard for your experience and your judgment. And then you felt like giving up. So I'm hearing these things. And so, am I right about that or
Yes.
those
Yes.
three things? Okay. So, it sounds like maybe you weren't being taken like seriously, or possibly that there might be this power indifference that's going on. Um, am I right? Do you think that's what's going on,
Yeah.
or would
No,
you
I
say
I think
maybe
so.
different? Okay,
No,
so there's a bit of a
I
power indifference. Okay, power indifference. Is your boss, um, tell me about your boss. The not
um.
this not the supervisor, but your manager.
So this is the manager that I was talking about.
Hmm.
So I'm not too sure if I understand the difference between a manager and supervisor.
Oh, sorry, you said the main person that you report to,
Oh,
that person.
okay.
Yes. Could you tell me about your relationship with that individual?
Oh, okay, yeah, for sure. So, I she's like very sweet. Like I do, respect her, and like she has been very supportive. But it's just in this particular instance where like she was not respecting my, I guess, my best judgment, and then as well as like some of the um I guess like rational when I was like presenting to her. And then in this case, which I think that she has a little bit outdated perspective in terms of how the design should be. Like it doesn't change the fact that she's a great designer and has like a great experience, but I think it's just more like her thinking and rationale could be a little bit outdated, just as software is always constantly changing and then like use how user interact with technology is always changing. So for me, I believe that the design that I created is more like catered towards like how people use the software nowadays. But then her thinking was more like kind of stuck like from like probably 5 or 10 years ago.
Okay. Well, that's really good context to have. And kudos to you, honestly, like for being in that space, like I said again, and to have that awareness of your experience and what you bring to the table, right?
Mhm.
Have you had that conversation with her about
Uh,
yeah, like your experience and then her her ideas being a little bit more traditional versus like what's being seen today in the industry? Have you had that
Um,
conversation with her?
no, because I feel like that is a little bit out of my place to say that to her.
Okay.
And yeah, and and then who am I to say that I should, like this is more like me being subjective into like my thinking and design. But I think having the directors and VP shutting down design A was a further um I guess like further acknowledgement from on my end to know that her design wasn't working.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that information as well. Is this the first time that this incident has occurred?
Um, I would say that this is probably like the first like major incident that would occur because the design was presented to the director and VP of design. But there's a few times where like beforehand, like something like this have happened, but because it was so small and it doesn't really impact that big of a stakeholder. So, um, but but I think it has been there. But this is like probably like the first major first time.
Right. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So I see like there's a difference in previous design situations where it wasn't as high stakes. Like you're saying, this went up to the VP and the director. So
Yeah.
it just felt, how did you feel like with your design, like the design that she asked for you to present to the VP and director? How did that make you feel like knowing that it was your design that was created? Was it a joint effort that was going to the VP and director? Or was it just like your
Mm,
design? Was it your name on it?
it was my name on it. Yeah.
And so how did
Yeah.
that make you feel knowing that they rejected your
Uh,
design?
so I think that's like the frustrating part, just because it was my name on it, I was presenting, but then it was under the instruction of my manager. So um, yeah. So I think in some way like that, it kind of seems like a incompetence from my end. Um, because like I did come up with other better design, and that's what I think was like better in my opinion. But then I wasn't able to present that, and I was not able to showcase that and be like, oh, you know what, like this was actually like my manager's idea, not mine. But I can't bring myself to say that in the meeting, in a situational meeting like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm feeling for you. Like, I'm hearing, like, who am I to say? And just feelings of like not being seen or heard and incompetence.
Hmm.
And yeah, like, is it when I say those words, are they hitting you a little bit somewhere?
Um, I guess like yeah, not being seen in work. Yeah, definitely. I definitely felt like my expertise or my knowledge was not being respected. And I had to like follow someone's idea or um like this like think present someone else like idea as if that was my own.
Mhm. So, okay, hearing what I'm hearing, do you think, and I'm hearing there is a hesitancy to maybe speak to your manager about your feelings. Is that true?
Um yeah, yeah, I would say so because I think I did try my best to kind of maintain like a cordial, like, direct reports and manager relationship. If I were to step a little bit further, I feel like our relationship is going to change because after all, like she is my manager and I do, like my performance, everything is like determined by her after all.
It sounds like you are somebody that really values your work and that respecting your direct report and respecting those that are higher of you is something that you take very seriously. Is that right?
Yeah, for sure.
Hmm. And I respect you to do that because, it can be also very difficult sometimes for others um, to approach their working relationship with a superior in their department in that way. But that being said, um, also in the 21st century that we do live in, with all the safe space and inclusive practices that are in workspaces, if approached correctly and kindly, um, I think those debriefs, right, following the result of your director and your VP's response to the design, maybe wouldn't be the worst idea. What do you think about that?
Um, yeah, yeah, agree. I agree. Yeah, um, I would say so, but I guess like my question would be like, how can I do that then?
Yeah,
Right? Yeah.
that's a really good question, right? Because I'm hearing there's obviously lots of fear, and I will say, like, been there, done that, right? It's really scary to be able to, approach a senior person um, with your feelings, especially when it's personal, right?
Hmm.
And there's this fear that um, you'll, get reprimanded for sharing your thoughts, right? So I guess like the biggest thing, let's start by asking, I'd like to help you gain some confidence in being able to share your feelings with your boss through a debrief um, in a way that will support you in your assertiveness, because it seems like there is this maybe just, yeah, like we said in the beginning, this power imbalance um, that's going on that's holding you from moving forward, um, because you don't want to be in a job where you're feeling like you're shut down for your ideas.
Yeah, definitely.
So I guess my question here is like, so in your workplace right now, what do you feel would be the best path forward? Like, is it to continue staying in this job and sharing those ideas and getting that support to share how you felt in that situation with your designs being rejected? Or are you feeling that perhaps you want to, like, you're done and you want to maybe explore other options? Have you thought of what the path forward is in this job?
Um, let's see. Yeah, I guess like haven't really thought about that. I think for me it was just more like I think like what you were asking is a very good question. I guess like I didn't really think this far in terms of what I should um be considering or doing, but I think you did kind of like raise a good point. Yeah, maybe like I could if I guess like talking to my manager is not working, like I could consider finding a new job because right now there has been a lot more like job openings. Um, yeah, like listings. I'm showing a lot more like opportunities out there.
No, absolutely. And yeah, you're a young woman, you're smart, you have tons of experience, and I appreciate you saying that you're willing to try to have that conversation, and that you're living your life in abundance, and seeing it as, that there's opportunities out there if this job is not serving you,
Hmm.
because in life you are meant to be um have peace, right, in your work, and you want to be seen and you want to be heard.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so in terms of the conversation, you're afraid. So is there a follow-up meeting that your manager has scheduled with you with the higher ups, such as the VP and the director?
Um, Not so how it works usually is more like I have to be the one scheduling up the follow-up after the design. So basically because it's so I have to chat with my manager first to kind of like come up with a second to kind of come up with the design, then we'll present to the higher ups. So I'll have to talk with my manager and then follow up with the higher ups later then.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So it seems like there's a process that you have to follow
Yeah.
and then, okay. All right. So have you thought about setting up that meeting prior to this session, or is that something that I can support you with here?
Um, um, let's see. I guess I haven't really thought that far yet. So for me, I guess like I'm just like thinking out loud. I guess what I have to do is like kind of come up, um, uh, um, list out the feedback that's coming out from the higher ups, and then try to incorporate and come up with a new design. And then I'll have to schedule a meeting with my manager. I guess I will reach out to you if the manager um is still like not trusting with my best like ration design rationale and decision. But um I think that me presenting that meeting knows that has allowed her to know that her first instinct with that like or the design that she has wanted me to propose is not the one that is approved by the higher ups.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So so it's Monday now. Do you think you'd want to work on having this meeting by the end of this, or, not the end of the week, but this week, or would you like to schedule something next week and then we could have a follow-up to discuss, like do a debrief on the discussion?
Okay. Probably I guess I can do this week.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay. Okay. So perhaps maybe like we have just a little bit more time left, but I'm hoping that we can just talk about like what your email to share with her would look like. And I'd like to help you with that if that's okay.
Oh, so how it works in my company, we don't do emailing. We just have to
Oh,
schedule a
okay.
meeting immediately.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So I guess
Okay.
instead of like doing like email, we can um do more like I guess like what I can say to her.
Got it. Okay. So, with that, I just wanted to say, like, it seems like with the power and difference and the feelings of fear going in, um, uh, it's very brave of you to consider having that conversation so soon. So just want to acknowledge that in you, that you're willing to work on that.
Oh,
Um,
oh, thank you. It's
it's a,
work,
it's
so
a,
I
it's a big
have to do
step.
it. I have to do it though. It's work.
Yeah. It's very, very daunting. So,
Uh-huh.
with that, what I was going to say is, just start off. I'd recommend, right?
Hmm.
You don't have to take my advice, but I recommend that, you just start off with appreciation, right? That, um, here I shared these designs and I appreciate you moving with your path, or the best path was what you thought was the best, right? And just say I notice, right? You don't have to say my design was, we should have gone with my design or this. Like there's no need to get into that, I think. Just approaching the situation where it's more diplomatic,
Hmm.
I think would be the best path with your boss, because it seems like in the beginning she was a little bit um there, you were having a dance with her as to what design was best, right?
Hmm.
So just, going to the situation saying, I see that, I notice that this is the design that we chose. And the VP, it's gone up to the VP and the higher ups, and they rejected the design. And then go into just sharing how you feel if you're
Yeah.
comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because a person can never argue with what you feel with that outcome if you feel
Um,
comfortable.
uh, okay. I guess my concern would just be like what um okay, yeah, I'll try. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And I'll just give you like an example of feeling. Like you can share kind of something that you shared with me today, is saying that I just felt a little bit, um, I felt that my design, you know, I felt a little bit of rejection in that moment. Or is there a way, or just say something in that if you feel comfortable. And if it doesn't, then you don't have to listen to my advice. But if you feel comfortable to share that, it might be worth it for her to know, and might be a teachable moment for her as well, that the design was rejected, and what if Vicky's other designs might have been a better option. So it gives her that um idea to just like to see past her idea as well. um and then I would mention, or I think, if you think, um, just mentioning that in future, is there a way that we can work together um, in finding the best design, or is there a chance that we can um, use my design to send to them? Because I'm not sure. Can you revise the design and send it?
Oh, you have to at this case.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
So
okay, great.
yeah.
So in this case, then, can your design be used?
Um um most yeah, so my design, I think now it's just more like I'm hoping that this is more like a wake up call for my manager.
Got
So
it.
to
Okay.
kind of realize, to let her know that yeah, her design was wrong. Like we could have, or we should have followed my like the designs I have came up with.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I think it's valid for you then to, you know, um, go into that meeting and then just share, like, is it, now that this has not been accepted, would it, how do you feel about my design um being used? Could we try that?
Hmm.
Right? And having that, sounds like you want to have that conversation, or
Uh,
you're gonna have to
yeah.
have it, right?
Gonna have to, yeah, in this case,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right. We are nearing the end of our session, Vicky. It's been such a pleasure just being here with you today, and having you share all these details about your job situation. I'm hoping that in the next session, when I see you, that we can talk a little bit about how that conversation, practicing assertiveness and not being afraid to share how you're feeling um, in your job and your duties in your work with
Hmm.
your manager, and having just a better working relationship with your manager. Um, would that be okay?
Hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Amazing. Okay, I am going to look at my, or send you my calendar. I think I have a few openings next week. I'm not sure if you went on the portal and scheduled something with me yet, but please feel free to schedule something, and reach out if anything is urgent and you need my support.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah, you're so welcome. Yeah, thank you for coming, and I look forward to hearing how everything goes.
Yeah, thank you so much, Priya. I really appreciate like your time today, and yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. You can do it. You're a smart woman. Okay. Until next time.
Okay, sounds good. Bye. Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.